gives you chills to see it. The Wisconsin women's ice hockey team alone at the top after winning their 8th national championship last weekend. That's the most of any D1 women's ice hockey program all time. Head coach Mark Johnson's win total now at 667 wins on the bench with the Badgers, the most all time of any D1 women's ice hockey coach. Wisconsin knocked off Ohio State with a thrilling come from behind overtime win in the title game last weekend. And now we say hello to Wisconsin women's hockey coach Mark Johnson. Coach, it is great to see you. You've had a couple of days to let the natty sink in. How's it feel to be on top?
Oh, it was a special Sunday afternoon, obviously for a lot of reasons. The most important one that we figured out and found a way to win when things weren't looking that very good. But just the atmosphere of the arena Sunday afternoon was a lot of electricity, a lot of Badger fans. And they got entertained to one heck of a hockey game. As I've told people the last couple of days, I've been around the game a long time, played it for a long time, coached it now for a long time. And it's interesting how you think you might know a lot about our sport or understand a lot about it. And then all of a sudden, Sunday's game's thrown at you and you go, wow, that was special.
It was awesome to watch from a fan perspective with all the drama. I can't imagine how you were feeling with the nerves on the bench. Your team comes from behind twice, you force overtime, and then it's Kirsten Simms who scores that game winner in OT. What was going through your mind when that shot went through?
I actually, once we decided that she was going to take it, I didn't watch. I didn't want to see what the result was going to be, whether it was going to be a goal or a save by their goaltender. I was going to go off the reaction from the bench, and obviously our bench got quite excited. And I asked my assistant coach Jackie what she did, and she told me about the deke. And I didn't see the actual move until I was going up to the press conference in the elevator when AJ Harris showed me it on his phone, and it was like, wow, just the courage and the conviction that she had in accepting the shot and then going in and executing on such a big time pressure situation, knowing that if we missed that opportunity, that might be the end of the game. So it was remarkable, and I'm actually still pinching myself that, the script was written the way it was.
You couldn't write it any better. That's wild, though, that you didn't watch her penalty shot until after the game wrapped up on video. I do want to talk about what led up to it, though, because you saw some on the broadcast where you addressed the group in the huddle saying, who wants to take this as you have the opportunity to force overtime? Simms' hand shoots up immediately. What were those conversations like?
Well, it's just, again, put yourself in our players, skates, and, here you got 18 seconds in the national championship game. You're down 3-2. Obviously, we have to score to extend the game. And so most people don't want to accept that challenge. I mean, you have to have ice in your veins, and you have to be convicted where, it's like all of a sudden I'm going to, clear my mind. And the only thing I'm thinking about is I'm going to execute this and I'm going to score. And not a lot of people could get themselves into that space under those circumstances. So I give her a lot of credit for stepping up, putting her hand up, and wanting to go out and take the shot.
It was really impressive throughout this game, the way your team responded. You go down a goal, you tie it up. You go down two, you tie it up in the last seconds. What was it about this group that allowed them to have that type of resilience in these moments?
Yeah, the thing we had talked about was trying to be consistent all season, and no different than any other year. And that's the challenge where, can we practice hard every day? Can we play well the next weekend and the next month and try to get to the end of the season playing our best hockey? And this group was very consistent. We had some great experiences throughout the year. We had a wonderful experience after Christmas and playing in an outdoor game against Ohio State at Wrigley Field. And we had some games where we had to come back. So, wise people learn from their experiences. And I think this team learned from a lot of their experiences throughout the season. And even when there wasn't a lot of hope at the end of the game Sunday afternoon, there was still some hope there. And the game's funny because that's why you play the whole 60 minutes, because you never know what's going to happen. And we saw a unique setting in Sunday afternoon's game with a penalty shot with 18 seconds to go.
That just gives me chills. It's the hope, right? That's what makes sports and the reason why we love it so much. But since you brought up what your group accomplished throughout the course of the season, you've coached a number of championship teams, but this year your Badgers set a program record with 221 goals. What was the biggest key to that offensive success?
We have a bunch of good players that aren't selfish, that, like I said earlier, they practice hard, they push each other. they hold each other accountable, and we see that every day. Everybody asks me, why is KK Harvey such a good defenseman, and why does she skate so well? And I says, come and watch us practice on a Tuesday or a Monday, when no one else is seeing us. And she practices hard every day. She tries to continue to get better. And if you have a group of players, especially your leaders and our captains on our team this year with Casey O'Brien and Layla Edwards and Lacey Eden, and then you throw KK in there, those four leaders are practicing the way they do and committing to becoming better players every day. Everybody else sort of follows along, and it's just a great environment. So you give the players a lot of credits because they're the ones that have to go on the ice. They have to execute, what they're trying to do. And at the end of the day, and you look back on the season, they earned everything that was, that they worked at. And, some of them got a bunch of individual awards, but at the end of the day, that last piece to our puzzle was a perfect fit.
Casey O'Brien, man, what a season she had. What has this group of seniors and upperclassmen meant to you?
It's been fun to watch them, continue to work at their game, and even that they've had success. I mean, that group won the national championship a couple years ago against Ohio State. Then last year we lost the last game in the championship to Ohio State, and so it's a learning process. One year you're really excited at the end because you have the trophy. The next year you're disappointed because you were close to it and it slipped away. And what do you do? And so they came back. They worked hard at it, and led by our senior class and our upperclassmen, they were able to get the job done this year. So it's exciting. And again, as I told the group too, Monday always comes. So Monday came, and fortunately for us, we brought the trophy back to Madison.
Coach, before we came on with you, we showed a graphic about the program's success, also mentioned your personal success as a head coach. What is the secret to having that type of longevity in the sport, and what keeps you going and loving this so much?
Well, again, it's, Monday comes, and like today, the sun's out and I can go into the rink and look at the rink. And obviously we're not practicing right now, but if we were to practice, that's sort of my space. That's my happy place. It's a nice place to work, and I just continue to enjoy it. And if you have good players and you work with them, I've always said that leaders, and I happen to be a coach, so I'm the leader of our group. But it's more about serving my players, and I sort of approach it each week and each day as our staff does, is like, what can we do to make them better players and better people off the ice, and work at that. And then it's up to each group individually and every season to try to connect and become a team, become a close-knit group, and work together to try to become the best version of they're capable of becoming. And you get to the end of the season, and all of a sudden you're playing your best hockey, and then you have a chance to do something special. And I get so excited about watching the kids celebrate after what we saw Sunday, and then some of the things that they're going to take with them away from the University of Wisconsin. That'll they're going to have memories for the rest of their life because of what they were able to do and their time here in Madison.
Well, Coach, congratulations, because you've done an excellent job, not just in getting results on the ice, but building incredible people up there in Madison. Before we let you go, you were part of the Miracle on Ice in the 1980 United States men's hockey team in the Olympics. How does this compare? Was this a second Miracle on Ice for you?
It was close. There were a lot of similarities in my experience in Lake Placid, getting to the locker room after especially like the Russian game, and then trying to figure out how we had beat them. And, it was the same thing when I entered the locker room after, Sunday's game. You're looking with your coaching staff and you're sort of pinching yourself, like, what happened? And so it's this process that takes time. And as coaches, we try to figure things out. And sometimes the game does what the game is going to do. And it brought a lot of special moments for us Sunday afternoon up at Ritter in Minneapolis.
So what's next, Coach? Some pickleball, relaxing? You already won the title.
That's the one thing. It's like my engine gets going so fast the last couple of weeks of the season when you're in the NCAA tournament. As we see with a lot of coaches, it takes a while for it to slow down. So it's still revved up a little bit. I'm trying to slow it down and enjoy what the last 6 months have been part of.
Well, Coach, congratulations. It was a special season, a special game, 8th national title for the Badgers. We appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on.